Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back to our show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Adam Bergman. And what we're going to talk about with Adam, besides his journey in business and in real estate, we're going to talk about using your self-directed IRA to buy investment properties for investment purposes. Guys, remember, here at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, really all real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their business. And we do that by providing the tools and resources to grow the business they wanted to grow, which in turn helps them live the life that they want to live. So Adam, man, welcome to our show.
Thanks so much for having me, John. Super excited.
Yeah, me as well. And I'm looking forward to kind of diving into the self-directed IRA. Like you and I mentioned before, or like we talked about earlier, it's kind of something that a lot of people don't know about. But before we get into the weeds of all that, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about you, kind of your background and your experience in business, real estate, and what brought you to today?
Okay, well, thanks. I was a tax lawyer in New York City. I worked at some of the largest law firms in the world. I have a master's in tax law. Did a lot of boring, corporate partnership taxation. And lo and behold, I was an 8th year associate, and I was asked to research for a client of the firm whether he was able to use his IRA to invest in his hedge fund. And I was immediately struck by the fact that you can do it. I was totally blown away that I'm a lawyer, pretty sophisticated guy, tax lawyer, master's in tax law, and I had no idea that you can use your retirement money to invest in alternative assets like hedge funds or real estate or gold. So it got me down the path of exploring this industry, the self-directed IRA industry that I did not know existed. And lo and behold, it turns out you can do a lot of amazing things. And at that point, this was 2008, the market was still relatively small compared to the overall IRA market. So I really thought there was something here. I was able to use my tax background and my passion on educating people about how to use the tax code in the most opportune tax beneficial way possible. So I left my law firm job. Took me about a year to start IRA Financial, and fast forward 15 years or so, we have 25,000 accounts, over $4.5 billion in assets, and we've helped people unlock their retirement money and invest tax efficiently in assets they know and trust, like real estate.
What do you find that like most people are utilizing their IRAs for, and and why don't you think many people know about the real estate investment potential?
Yeah. So let me just give some historical context to that question, because it's a really good question. So IRAs were created in 1974 by ERISA. And when IRAs were created, there was no distinguishing between an IRA that invested in traditional assets like stocks and an IRA that invested in alts like real estate. The tax code doesn't distinguish. In fact, the word self-directed IRA is not even in the tax code. There's only 3 things you cannot do in an IRA, and that's found under Section 408 and 4975 of the Internal Revenue Code. And here they are. Can't buy life insurance in an IRA. You could in a 401k. Number two, you cannot buy collectibles like art.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And thirdly, in the broadest category under Internal Revenue Code, Section 4975, is you're not allowed to do anything with your IRA that directly or indirectly personally benefits you, your lineal descendants, your parents, your children, your spouse, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, or any entities controlled by such persons, 50% or more. So, for example, you can't buy a house and live in it. Can't rent a house to your kids. You can't take your IRA, go to Disney with your family. You can't buy a car with your IRA, so on and so forth. Otherwise, you can do it, right? You can flip real estate to a third party. You can lend money to a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, cousin. You can invest in your friend's business. You can invest in private equity, real estate fund, venture capital fund, gold, cryptos, credit funds, hard money loans. You name it. Other than those three categories, you can do it. So it's quite broad. And there's around 65 million IRAs out there, around $17 trillion in retirement money is tied into IRAs. So for most Americans, and rightfully so, it's their biggest source of savings. Why? Because you get a tax deduction for putting money in an IRA, which is great. That's the first benefit. Mm-hmm. And the second benefit is your money grows without tax in the IRA. That's known as deferral or compounded returns. So you get dual benefits by saving in an IRA, and that's why most people save in an IRA or 401k. So it's a really exciting tool, especially for real estate investors, to invest their retirement money into real estate, into assets that they believe will 2x, 3x, 4x, or just return a steady flow of income in a tax-efficient way.
Okay. So let's break this all down in the most simplest way for somewhere. So just so people have, are beginning maybe type people, like, what is an IRA? Why do people start an IRA?
Okay, so an IRA is an individual retirement account. Anyone with income could start an IRA. In fact, the most popular way of funding an IRA is either through contribution. In 2025, you can put away $7,000 if you're under 50, $8,000 if you're over 50. There's two types of IRAs, individual retirement accounts. There's a pre-tax IRA, which I just mentioned, and there's something called a Roth IRA, which was created in 1997. It's just an after-tax IRA. So unlike a traditional IRA, you do not get a tax deduction for putting the money in, but so long as you're 59 and a half and the Roth's been open 5 years, everything you pull out is tax-free. So, for example, I'm a big Rother. I wrote a book, In God We Trust, In Roth We Prosper. All my retirement money's in Roth. Why? Because the idea is once you hit 59 and a half, you can pull out whatever you want to live off tax-free. Right? So it's a huge benefit. You don't get the immediate tax deduction, but you get the tax-free growth. So the other way of funding an IRA is through rollover, through a 401k. So you leave your job, you have a bundle of money from your employer 401k or former employer 401k, and then you can roll those funds tax-free into an IRA, and then you get to self-direct them into almost any asset you want.
Okay. Why wouldn't people just, or maybe let me rephrase that, like what's more the benefit of a Roth IRA or an IRA or anything 401k versus, what people are traditionally taught, now changing as times grow, but put your money in the bank. Put it in a savings account.
Well, there's something called taxation, right? So here's a simple example, right? We'll take two examples. So I lend you $100,000 and you pay me personally back $10,000 a year. The interest on the loan is ordinary income. I pay tax on that, anywhere from 0 to 37%. If I did that in an IRA, I'd pay zero tax. That $10,000 would go back to me tax-free. So you do that over 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you're going to be able to double or triple the amount you save. Same with Bitcoin. Let's say you bought Bitcoin at 1,000, now it's at 105,000. You sold it and you did it personally, you pay capital gains tax, probably 15 to 23.8%, depending on your net income. If you did an IRA, zero tax. Okay, so it is the most tax-efficient way to save. This is how smart people save. because you take advantage of the power of deferral and compounded returns. Albert Einstein said compounding returns is the eighth wonder of the world. That's how smart people get rich.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Got it. Why is it not being taught? I mean, why is it? I mean, is maybe there's not as much education on it.
It's a shame. That's my passion. It's an absolute shame. And my example is really a test case because listen, I went to school till I was 25 years old, right? I went to university. I have a law degree. I have a master's in tax law. I probably took 15 tax courses in law school and through my master's program, and I didn't take one course on retirement accounts, not one course on the power of compounded returns, zero. It's an utter shame. I took all kinds of, history classes, art history, music classes, all kinds of nonsense that was interesting, but didn't really help me in my life. And if I just really understood the power of compounded returns, I probably would have been able to maximize my savings to even a greater extent to the degree I did currently.
Okay. So what does your business look like now? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've been blessed. I have a great business with great people. I've been blessed because I get to do what I love. And I think that's one of the reasons we're successful. I built my business from one client, where it was me and my wife, to now over 100 employees. We have over 25,000 accounts,
Nice.
Over $4.5 billion in assets. We have a great business because we have a great product, and the product sells itself. I think we're really good, and we have the best expertise in what we do. And I know this stuff probably better than anyone in the country, but it's really the products themselves, because the IRA in the retirement world is such a powerful saving and investment tool.
Okay. And I just had my question. Do you have any do you own any real estate? Do you do you have any rentals? Do you do anything in the real estate business or niche?
Absolutely. In my IRA, I do everything in my IRA. I do what I preach. I bought Bitcoin since 2014. So it's funny. The two best performing assets I own, three. One is Bitcoin. One is investment in a private business, and the third is real estate. All three things my financial advisors told me not to do. Don't do it, Adam. It's risky.
Why do they tell you not to do that?
I think they want me to buy stocks. They want me to they want to make money on the assets they hold. So they told me Bitcoin's too risky. I shouldn't invest in my friend's business. It just didn't make a lot of sense. And then real estate. Why would you want to own that in an IRA? That doesn't make a whole lot of tax sense. And they were wrong on all three cases. So my best performing assets have been real estate, Bitcoin, and a private investment.
Got it. Are you seeing any trends in any of these assets or any of these investments, coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, so, for me, John, the why I love investing in IRA is because you have to have a long-term horizon, right? The beauty of the IRA in the retirement world is you don't want to be a short thinker, right? Because it's for your retirement. It's for 10, 20, 30 years down the road. So I think that lets you act and think more realistic, more sensible. So when I look at an investment, it's not like, can I flip it in a month and double my money? It's like, okay, where will it be in 5, 7, 10 years? So yeah, I've bought real estate. I have a number of properties in my IRA, and I don't worry about things that happen in the market because I like the asset. I know where it is. I can touch it. I get cash flow. It's appreciated. I can sleep at night. I've diversified. So for me, it's more about where the asset's going to be in 7, 10, 15 years and less about where it's going to be next month.
Okay. Awesome. So if folks that are listening, maybe they have an IRA and they're thinking about, directing it somewhere, like what questions do they need to ask themselves? So like, what are some main things they need to think about prior to making the decision on where they're directing those funds?
Yeah, so I think whether you use an IRA or to invest in real estate or invest in stocks or whether it's personal money, you always want to know what you're investing in, right? And why I love the self-directed world is because Some people don't understand Wall Street. They just don't understand stocks. They don't like it. They don't feel comfortable with it. It doesn't make sense.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And there's a larger group of people that just enjoy real estate. They enjoy investing in things they understand, whether it's gold or Bitcoin or private companies. So the self-directed world and Congress, to their credit, when IRAs were created in 1974, they've given people the right to do this. If they did not want Americans to invest in alts with the IRA, they would have shut the door down and said, hey, you only can buy traditional investments, like they did with 529 plans, college education savings plans. But with an IRA, you're allowed to do alts. And there's a good reason, because you can diversify. So it's important, I think, to look at what you believe in, what you want to do, right? You can create your own freedom. You create your own luck. There's nothing more American than doing a self-directed IRA.
Are there any rules that they should live by when starting to do something like this, or, or thinking about it, or like any, I don't know, just like
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to work with a company like IRA Financial. First of all, you need to custody the IRA somewhere. So if you want to buy real estate with your IRA, Schwab, Fidelity, Vanguard, they're not going to let you do that because they don't allow you to do alts. Why? They don't make money. It's not because there's something illegal about it. They don't make money when you take your money out of Vanguard and out of the stock market to buy real estate in your hometown.
Right.
They don't make money, so they stop you from doing it. The self-directed industry allows you to do it. So you want to work with a company like IRA Financial that has the expertise to do it. Number two, the prohibited transaction rules I mentioned previously. Those are the core rules you have to understand. So if you're doing an investment, you got to make sure it's not a collectible, not life insurance, and not prohibited. You don't worry.
Right.
You work with a company like IRA Financial, we work with you and make sure what you're doing is not prohibited. So we guide you. We help structure everything. We help move the money. We help with all the IRS reporting. You literally have to do nothing. All you need to do is just decide what you want to invest in, tell us where to grab the money, and we'll send it, and we'll do all the reporting.
Okay. And then what are the mistakes that you see people making when they're doing this, maybe on their own or with other companies?
So the mistakes are depending on the investment. So if it's real estate, a lot of the mistakes I've seen is on the structuring. So they find a company online, and there's a lot of great ones, and there's not so, and there's companies that aren't so great. And they just set up the retirement account quickly. They don't ask questions. And then it turns out the investor is stuck in a deal, and there's potential tax pitfalls, something called UBIT, unrelated business income tax, which could be removed or at least reduced through different manners. And if they use the right company who was able to examine the fact pattern prior to the investment, they would have easily been able to restructure an investment to minimize tax. So I think that's the main one. Is some companies just want your business and they're just going to open the account and not ask any questions. And if you go to IRA Financial and some other really good companies, we'll work with you to make sure we understand what you're doing and then get you in the right structure so you can maximize your tax benefits.
Got it. In all your time in business, and then obviously you had a lot of schooling, and you obviously had to have some good mindset. I like to talk about mindset a little bit with folks, is just to see, are there certain things, books, people, podcasts, things that help you and your mindset as you grow through your business?
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, I read a lot, and what I try to do, whether it's online, the Wall Street Journal, anything, or if I'm just walking through a mall or through a street, I always think about what I'm seeing. How could that impact my business, right? So, for example, I was reading an article about a new AI startup that's helping the plumbing industry. I don't know anything about plumbing, but I read the article and said, okay, what are they doing in this specific field that could potentially help my business? So that's what I'm always doing.
Yep.
I'm always trying to think about, hey, this is really cool. It could be something on a menu in a restaurant, but like, how could I employ that in my business to help my customer? So I think it's always looking, always growing, never staying static, and always thinking about the customer. What does the customer want, and how can I make it easier for the customer?
Got it. What's your current read?
Oh, so I just finished reading the Walter Isaacson biography on Elon Musk, which I recommended. He wrote one on Steve Jobs, which I really liked. So I just finished this recently. And whatever you think about Elon Musk, you can respect the fact that he will do anything to solve problems. And what I love about Elon Musk the most is he will sleep on the factory floor, and he's always looking to make things easier, simpler, and he just hates, just rules that just exist in a vacuum that don't really have much purpose. So I took a lot of that, and I told my team, okay, let's look at our processes, and maybe there's 10 steps. How do we knock it down to 3 steps? There's always ways to simplify these processes. So that's what I really got out of the book. And whatever you think about him, I think you can take that away from this biography, that he's a master at just looking at things and trying to make things easier.
Love it. I love it. What do you feel your keys to success have been?
So I'll give you a few. I mean, luck. I'll be honest, like being in the right place, right time, hard work. I mean, there are a lot of hardworking people. So the best advice I ever got. So I was a lawyer. By my 5th year as a tax lawyer in New York, I liked being a lawyer, but I didn't feel like it was my calling. It was honestly like just golden handcuffs. The money was good. I was single in New York City. I was able to spend money, go out. It was fun.
Hey,
but
there you
I
go.
didn't feel like I want, I didn't feel like I wanted to do it the rest of my life. So I actually had a friend, a good friend of mine, whose dad was a very successful software developer. And I would talk to him, and he said, I kept saying, I really want to start a business, but I have no idea what I want to do. And he said, okay, you should try to find a business that you could use your tax background. I said, why? He goes, well, if you just want to start a business, let's say it's a furniture business, you're not going to know anything about furniture. It's going to take you years to catch up to your competitors. It's going to be very hard to succeed. But if you start a business that there's some tax flavor to it, you're going to immediately be on top of your competitors for the most part, at least be equal, probably on top, and you're going to have an easier time to succeed. And that was the best advice I found. So when I kind of stumbled on self-directed IRAs, right away when I started my business, none of my competitors were tax lawyers. So right away, I had an advantage. I understood this stuff. I was able to structure things they didn't know. They'd have to go hire consultants and lawyers to help them, where I was able to do everything myself. So that was the best advice I ever got, is try to find a business that touches on your skill set and your experience. And I think business is so hard, but that's just one advantage that could help you succeed. And it worked for me.
Definitely help get a foot up. That's for sure. I mean, you already know a lot of that stuff. So you wrote a couple books. How many books total? I think you said 9.
Yeah, 9. I'm on my 10th.
Awesome. What are the books mainly about? Is it about self-directed IRA? What are they about?
Yeah, so this is my last one. It's called Mastering the Self-Directed IRA. And yeah, they're all about IRAs, using retirement money, whether it's through a solo 401k, a self-directed IRA. I wrote one how to use retirement money to start a business, one about the Roth, one about how we all can be 7 figures at 70, tax-free, how we all can literally be tax-free millionaires. And there's 3 easy steps in the book. But it's really circled around the retirement system and really how rigged it's in our favor. Like, people don't realize Congress is literally giving us a pathway to tax-free millions, and it's the only area where the Democrats and Republicans agree. If you look at all major retirement legislation, generally it's almost 99% unanimous in favor of it. Whether it's on the Ways and Means Committee, the Senate Finance Committee, the Dems, Republicans, this is the one area they agree on because it works, right? It's based off mathematics, compounded returns, and it helps everyone. It's not a zero-sum game. We all can have millions of dollars in our IRA tax-free if you just kind of start early. Here are the 3 rules. I'll give it to you. Don't have to read my books. Start early, be consistent, make contributions every year, the best of your ability. And 3, be patient, trust the process. You're going to have 6 to 7 figures tax-free. It's guaranteed.
Love it. If there's folks listening that want to reach out to you, talk to you a little bit about, using their IRA or just, anything we talked about today, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, the best way, I think there's two ways. One, IRAFinancial.com, tons of great resources. You can call us, email us, chat us. Like, we have a great team of tax professionals, free consultations. Like, you can just call and ask questions, and our team will happily answer them. There's no fees. And then the second, our YouTube channel, IRA Financial, there's thousands of videos, some long, some short, and on different topics, whether it's real estate, cryptos, private equity, or just understanding the basic IRA rules. Tons of great stuff, and you can watch it at your leisure.
Sure. Cool. Well, we'll put all your contact information that you sent me and down in the show notes. And, Adam, I appreciate you coming by and spending some time with us. Thank you for all the great info. Folks there at home, if you're listening, I hope you took some good notes. And if you have any questions, please reach out to Adam. Adam, thank you again. Guys, hope you enjoyed the show. Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.